So part of the difference sounds like you were ready to take another step. But what was it like this time with the experience? Did you feel again like, oh no, I'm back at school, here we go? Or were you treated differently this time when you went in?
I was nervous as all buggery. I was. But I drove into the car park and I said, no, turn it back now. And it was actually, it's a nice old building where they do it. And I walked in and everyone was very welcoming. How you going? Your name and that, and oh yeah, such and such is waiting for you, we'll let them know. And they were very welcoming. They welcomed me with open arms. And it was very calming. I was just like walking into someone and just, oh, they're looking at you going, yeah, what can we do for you? You know, from the moment I stepped foot in the door, that was comfortable.
Right, so that's really interesting. So that very first impression was important, even though it wasn't your teacher that you're meeting at that point.
No, it wasn't my teacher. It was just the ladies at the front desk, and there was 5, I think. And with COVID, yeah, hand sanitizer and masks and all that other stuff, and you know, did the temperature test, and just really lovely.
Yeah.
So that was a good feeling. That was the start.
And then what was it like when you met your teacher? Did you have to do a pre-assessment, and how were you feeling? Were you nervous?
I was nervous as soon as I drove in the car park.
Yeah.
But I knew I had to do, for me to progress further and achieve what I wanted to achieve, I had to do this. Walking in, that was great, but then walking up the steps to go see the 2 ladies that did the assessment on me, I was nervous. But there was a calming feeling too about it.
And so how did they set the atmosphere up for you? Did they make it a welcoming environment? Did you feel like they were listening to you? Did you feel like you were having a test? Tell us what it was like.
I didn't feel like I was having a test. They asked who I am, they asked a bit about myself and my interests and family and stuff like that. So it wasn't bang, do that, read this to me, all right, off we go.
Okay.
It was, they got to know me as a person first. And also it's part of the assessment, or just getting to know me before they started.
So one thing that I'm really interested about this is that, did you feel like you were meeting with a teacher who was going to show you what to do, or was it a more personal sort of interaction? How did you feel about the relationship that you thought might, develop between you as you were working together?
I thought it was going to be another class environment, but then when I found out it was just one-on-one, like there was 2 there to do the assessment, but Cheryl that was doing the assessment told me that it's one-on-one and it's just going to be me and her, which was very calming, knowing there was just going to be the 2 of us, which helped a little bit. So I had to do some writing, nervous about that, and then I had to read aloud, which I didn't want to.
Okay. And did you end up reading aloud then? And did you have a choice about whether you were doing that?
They give me the choice. They told me that under no pressure, do what I feel like, what I'm comfortable with, which helped.
Okay.
So I did read. So the whole walking in at the start, the calming feeling, then to upstairs, then to talk to me, to know me, that helped. I suppose it put me at ease a little bit. I was still nervous, a little buggery, but I did read.
And what sort of things did they say to you as you were doing it? Did you feel like you were having to show them what you could do at all, or was it more about, oh, what can't you do?
I think it was both. There was no guidelines. There was no boundaries. They asked the question, could I write this down, or there was no pressure. And if I couldn't do it, I couldn't do it.
Okay. And did you get the choice then to sort of say, well, oh, have a go at this, but if you can't do this one, we'll move on to something else? Or did you feel like you had to complete everything
No,
as you went through?
No, I didn't have to complete everything. You got to do this, got to do that, got to do that. If that was too hard, I'll go find something else.
Okay.
And but then when I got that done, I could go back and do the other one. So there was no, you have to do this, have to do this, have to do this.
Okay. So it wasn't even given to you in an order that you had to go through. You could have some sort of choice about what you were doing?
No.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it wasn't like you've got 50 questions, you've got to go start from 1 to 50. You can start at 1 and go to 50 and then do in between. That was calming.
So it sounds like when you went into this assessment experience, it was more like finding out about how they were going to be able to help you go through things, looking at what you could already do, trying to work with you on what you couldn't do. Did they ask you about your goals and what you were hoping to achieve?
Yeah, they did. And I explained to them, which was a nice thing to do, because then that give them more of an idea where they could take me. If they had an idea where my goalposts were at the end, what we could do to achieve that. And I think them asking these questions and getting to know me helped a lot.
If you had to give a message to people who are going to be assessing people and then tutoring them, what do you think are the things that you would like to say from your experience about what helped you feel comfortable and what helped you come back and want to continue with your learning?
I think that one of the big things that helped me was, how would you say, being comfortable for the people who are doing the assessment to get to know the person that's coming in for help and asking what their goals were or what they'd like to achieve. It made myself very comfortable. They'd talk to me, feeling comfortable, getting to know me and talking to me and what I wanted to achieve, my goals. It made me feel very comfortable.
So it's all about finding out about you as a person, not just looking at the skills that you have and what your gaps might be.
Yeah, you've got gaps, but you've got to also try to understand the person you're teaching. And everyone's different.
And what about in terms of setting up the environment for that first experience? What do you think are the things that people could learn from your experience and what it was like to come into somewhere and knowing that you were nervous and that you weren't sure if this was going to work?
I think being welcomed was a big part. It really took the edge off being nervous. And instead of just sitting down going, right, we'll do this, this, and this, they got to know me, they talked to me, and I got to know a little bit about them as well. And yeah, that was relaxing.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you got to know a little bit about the tutor as well. So it was more of a conversation
street.
between adults.
Yeah. It wasn't like a classroom environment. It was sitting down, having a talk, that initial, name and that. And Cheryl told me when we first sat down, told me a little bit of an interaction about her family, a little bit about her past, which makes you at ease as well.